Adding reference geometry in your model can allow you to create features and components that would otherwise be difficult to generate. The two primary reference geometry types I'll mention here, planes and axes, are often used in the process of creating new features. For example, the mirror command requires a face or plane as a selection to mirror geometry about it. The plane you want to use may not exist as a face in the model, so creating a new reference plane will help you get the exact geometry you want. The linear pattern and circular pattern commands require using an axis or edge to replicate the geometry you selected. Having a custom axis or edge created as reference geometry can help you get the exact pattern type or direction you're looking for, as well as allowing you to create sketch relations and dimensions. Both planes and axes are both used to create the features themselves, but planes can also be used to set the end conditions of a feature, such as setting a stopping point for an extrude or a revolve. In this lesson, I'll discuss some of these scenarios that you'd want to create these reference geometry types in XDesign, and I'll show you the different ways you can make selections to generate a plane or axis in your model. There are two types of reference geometry I'll discuss in this video: planes and axes. Reference planes are often added when there's additional geometry needed to create a feature. For instance, when using the mirror command, the feature requires a face or plane about which to mirror the selected geometry. An existing face may not be present in the model, so creating a reference plane can accomplish this instead. Reference planes can also be used to serve as an end condition for a feature like an extrude or revolve, or for being the sketch plane on which custom sketches are created. This can be really useful when converting edges and existing geometry into the sketch, or projecting model geometry at a unique angle. More advanced features, such as sweeps and lofts, use multiple sketches that may require the creation of multiple reference planes. The plane command can be accessed from the Features tab of the Action bar, or by pressing the S key to bring up the shortcut menu where the command is included. There are multiple ways you can create a reference plane. The most straightforward way is to select an existing plane or face. And you can either make it coincident with the existing selection, or you can type in a distance value to offset it, which can go in either direction. Or if you want the plane to be set at a distance related to the model geometry, you can select a vertex as well, and the plane will go through that point and remain parallel to the first selection. I'll click the X here to clear all selections I made. Planes can also be created at an angle. This can be done by selecting an existing face or plane, and then selecting a model edge or an axis. The plane will go through the axis, and you can set the angle relative to the selected plane or face. An important type of plane to create, especially when using commands like the mirror command, is the midplane. This is created by selecting two faces or planes that are parallel to one another. Once they're selected, the plane is automatically generated in between the two selections. There are a few other ways you can create a plane based on your selections. You can choose two edges if they're parallel to one another. You can choose an axis and a point. Or you can select 3 points and the plane will be automatically created through them. Now I want to discuss using axes as reference geometry. Axes are often added when features require an axis to create 3D geometry. For example, the revolve command is centered on an axis. The circular pattern command patterns selected bodies and geometry around an axis as well. You can even use an axis as a way to mate components together in an assembly, especially when trying to make cylindrical shapes concentric and be able to slide in the same direction. There are a few ways you can create an axis in XDesign. It's important to note that you can always use existing model edges as a reference axis, but if you need to create a new reference axis based on the geometry, You can either select an existing edge and use the endpoints to drag the length to make it more visible, or you can select two intersecting planes, and the axis is automatically generated where they intersect. Or you can select 2 points, and the axis will be generated so it passes directly through them.